our three-part series focused on three dimensions of the individual, three dimensions of self. The mind, which is called cognitive, otherwise known as the neshama, which is inside the mind and hovering around the mind. The ruach, which is the emotional self. And finally, today's part 3 of the workshop is on the behavioral, the nefesh, the body, the actions. All three parts of the individual have to be aligned in order for you to function successfully with good self-esteem. You know the song, the neck bone connected to the shoulder bone, connected to the hip bone, connected to the leg bone, connected to the knee bone. That's all the bones, all the spiritual bones of the body have to be connected to each other. The mind has to direct, the neshama has to direct the ruach, the emotions, and the mind and the heart, the feelings, together direct the body to perform the proper actions, the proper deeds. So we said that on the sense of the individual, the cognition, the neshama of the individual, we have 6 dimensions of self: intellect, social skills, personality, which is midos, spirituality, family contribution, and personal growth. And we said the essence of knowing who you are, knowing, self-knowledge, to thine own self be true, to know yourself, to know who you are, and what your mission is in life, what your tafkid is in life is, you have to know what your best midos are. And that comes in here under the section of personality. And we said there are how many midos that Hashem developed and created and put in us in the world? How many are there? The Yud Gimel Midos Harachim, the 13 Midos Harachim. And they are Hashem, consistency. Kale, leadership. Rachum, compassion. Chanun, chen, warmth. Erech Hapayim, patience. Mellow, laid back. Rab Chesed, always giving. Emes, honesty, integrity, doing the right thing. Notzer Chesed, creativity. Nosei Avon v'Afesha v'Chata'ah, forgiving. And V'nakei, resilience, bouncing back from a problem. Those are the 13 midos. We named 10 of them, and we said that each of us can identify by going to your neshama state, your soul state, by going to your beautiful place and accessing your true self. And we said that we are going to set up here at Tomer Devorah an anti-gravity club. Who are the members of the anti-gravity club? Great, lovely. And have you been able to meet and work on how you moved up from a difficult emotional state and go against gravity into your higher self, your soul state, your neshama state? Have you had a chance to meet yet and discuss that? Excellent. So that's the ongoing continuity or follow-up of this 3-part workshop, is for us to be able to take this with us into the year and into our adulthood and into our families and marriages, by being able to overcome, to uplift yourself, to go against the gravity of emotions which pull us down, and to bring us up into what? Into your higher state, into your real self, your neshama self, your best midah. Your best midah, your best attribute, is above emotions. It exists on a different plane. Our emotions of sadness, or difficulties, or depression, or hopelessness, or anxiety drag us down into gravity. And what happens when emotions pull us down and we don't get a good grade, or we have a difficult day, or a bad hair day? So we go down into gravity, and I feel what? My body feels what? Hard? Tired. What else? Heavy. What else? Drained. Correct. Lethargic. Weak. Sad. Pulled down. And my suggestion in the anti-gravity group is, when you identify your best midah, which is here, your best attribute, whether it's chen, chesed, creativity, emes, bouncing back over here, you can bounce back and go to your true self and not let the emotions drag you down and be depressed for 3 days or 3 weeks or 3 months. Go up, bounce back, and go to your true self. What I'm saying, therefore, is in the anti-gravity group, in the second section of emotions and rising above here, you can, and this is very controversial, are you ready for this? You can choose your own mood. Raise your hand if you agree. Can you choose your own mood? If you want to be depressed today, can you be depressed? By doing what? By doing nothing, right? By thinking what? By being negative. What does being negative mean? By thinking depressing thoughts. So everyone think about a rainy day right now. Think about a rainy day. You're planning to go somewhere to an outing and you had a rainy day, you couldn't go. Let's think of the negative thoughts. How does your emotional self feel? Sad, lethargic, right? Down. Now let's think of a sunny day at Tiyul in the Galil, going to the Golan, going to the Banyas waterfall. Have you been to the Banyas waterfall yet? Golan Heights, and jumping in the water or experiencing the kayaking on the Jordan. Have you done kayaking yet? Yes? Kayaking in the Jordan River. How do you feel? Right, so it all depends on what you're thinking about. It's all in the mind. You think negative thoughts, you feel down. You feel positive thoughts, you feel up. So you can definitely choose your mood. I want to feel down right now. I want to feel depressed right now. If you want to be depressed, you can, by thinking negative thoughts. So here is this dimension of the emotional self, is we have within ourselves different sub-personalities. These are sub-personalities. So we have within ourselves, each of you is a daughter. Each of you is a sister. Each of you is going to be, God willing, a mother. Amen. Each of you is a friend. Each of you, does anyone here have a business or a side business that you work on at home, or a business, right? So you're an employer or self-employed. Who here has had a part-time job? You're a co-worker. So you are all of these things all of the time. You are a daughter, a sister. You will be, God willing, a mother, a friend. You're an employer, self-employed, and you're all of these things at the same time. But you only bring one here. There's only one that is operational right now. Which role do you play right now? Of all these, daughter, sister, friend, employer, co-worker, student, which one is brought to mind to your consciousness right now? Which one are you choosing to be right now? Friend, you're sitting again with colleagues and friends. And vis-a-vis me, you are choosing to be the student, right? Talmidah. So therefore, right over here, you are all of these things, but you're bringing to consciousness, you're slotting in over here, student. So you are choosing subconsciously to be student right now. You're not choosing to be daughter right now, although you are a daughter, Baruch Hashem, and you are a sister, but right now you are positively and proactively choosing to be, I am going to play the role of student. This is true also of our emotions. Here are our emotions: happy, sad, anxious, depressed, frustrated, and motivated. We are all of these things. We have all of these things within us. Which one are you choosing to be right now? Which one do you decide? Are you deciding right now to slot in over here and play the role of student who is what? Are you student anxious, student sad, student depressed, student frustrated, Student happy or student motivated? Which one do you choose to be right now? Motivated. So you are choosing to be a motivated student right now, which means you are choosing your mood. Whether you do it consciously or subconsciously, you are able to choose whatever mood you want. If you want to walk into the class right now and get a bad phone call just a moment ago and say, okay, I want to be depressed right now, you can choose student depressed right now, or student sad, or student anxious right now. It's all a question of what you put here. Who puts it here? What part of you decides to put the emotion here? Is it the emotion itself deciding to put itself here? What part of you is choosing to take this emotion? The heart. Well, the heart is the emotions, right? So that's like the emotion choosing the emotion. Your sadness chooses sadness, or your feelings choose feelings. There's something, your mind, something higher than your emotions. Your mind is choosing which emotion to put here, right? So that's how we understand that these three dimensions of self, your mind is choosing which emotion to act upon. I may feel down right now, but I haven't got time to be down right now. I can't afford to be depressed right now. I got a class to go to. Well, let's say you're working, right? You're working, and you have a job, you're a professional, and you had a bad day with your children this morning. They couldn't get out to school. You could decide, well, I'm going to be depressed all day, and I'm not going to focus on my clients, and I won't focus on my special ed class, and I won't focus on my occupational therapy and on my speech therapist because I had a bad day this morning. Or you can say, what? What could you say? I'm going to choose to put into my heart and into my experience of life an emotion of what? Happiness, focus, motivation, even though I'm feeling sad, even though I'm feeling down. So I'm suggesting that this neshama, which is called the choosing place, the neshama is known as the Bechira, the place of Bechira. Your Tselem Elokim, the Nefesh HaChaim tells us that Tselem Elokim, the image of God in you, is your power of choice. What is the image of God in you? Hashem can choose to be and to go and to do whatever He wants. When we emulate Hashem, when we act like God, and that's our purpose in life. Our purpose in life is to act like Hashem. So we could choose to put into this mindset a positive, happy mindset if we so choose. I can choose to be depressed if I want to. That's your free will. That's your free choice. So you could now choose to be whatever you want to be and to do whatever you want to do and to have an attitude or a mindset, whatever you want. Depressed or happy. Sad or motivated. Anxious or let's get my act together and I can be calm. Okay, so that's the mind and then the emotions. Now we're going to move on to the last part, the third part of the workshop, which is the behavioral. How to act. How do you act so that your mind, heart, and body will all be in one line, aligned, focused to accomplish your goals? This is called alignment. When your mind, heart, and actions are all in one line. And here's the example. Let's say next year you come home from seminary and you get Red Shidduch, etc. And you are going out with a boy, and on paper, he's perfect. Good family, learning, great boy. You go out 5 times, not feeling it. No feeling of connection. Your mind says yes, but your heart says no. Do you marry him? Why not? Because they're not aligned. Your mind and your heart both have to say yes, to be able to go ahead and say, okay, let's get engaged. Your mind and your heart, on paper, it has to make sense. You have to feel it, and then you do it. That means that this and this have to be on one plane, on one alignment to be able to make the decision correctly. Let's say you're feeling in love. Wow! But it makes no sense. Right? You're in love, and it's a great guy, and you love him, but there's no, it doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense that he doesn't fit into your family and doesn't fit into your mindset and your hashkafas, and he wants a television, and he wants internet, and it's not for you. But you love him. He's gorgeous, right? And he's so with it and cool, and he wears, cool stuff, right? Real cool guy, but it doesn't make sense. Do you do it? No. Your heart says go, yeah? But your mind says no. Do you do it? No. Both your mind and heart have to be aligned. That's why the last part, which is the actions, follow the mind and the heart. They have to be in one straight line. How do you do that? This is called, everyone draw a circle on your page, called the circle of control. Everyone draw a circle. And label it the circle of control. And outside the circle, let's write all the things we cannot control. Over here we have the weather. Can you control the weather? No. Can you control the rain? No. Can you control declaring war against Iran? No. What else can you not control? Other people's what? Other people's feelings, words, actions, or reactions. What is it that we usually get upset about? The weather. And we get upset about what they said, or what she said, or what he said, or what they did to me. These are some things which are outside what? Outside your circle of control. Now, can you control that which is outside your circle of control? No. Then why do we worry about those things? Why do we get so upset and anxious and upset and nervous and sad and depressed about what person said to me when you cannot control that person? And we know it. We've drawn a circle of control, and we know that we cannot control other people's words, actions, thoughts, feelings, or reactions. And they have their own free will. They affect us. They affect us. Correct, very good. What they say affects us. Now, if we allow other people's words to affect us, which is natural, then we are going to be what? Dependent on what? We're going to be dependent on other people's positive words for our own validation. So if people are smiling at me, I'm feeling good. They say, hey, you're looking good today. Or I like you. Or you're my friend. Or you're really cool with it. Then I feel what? Great. And if I walk into the room and they turn away. Or they don't give me the time of day. Or they hang out with somebody else. Or they don't like me for some reason. And I go, and I get down and sad and depressed and cry, right? Then I am showing that my mood is dependent on other people's mood. So it's true, it's natural. What's your name? Ayala? Daniela. It's natural to be upset, but does it make any sense? Let's think about it. Does it make sense to be dependent on someone else's approval to feel good about yourself? No. What's that called? It's called co-dependent. I'm dependent on someone else to feel good about myself. So instead of relying on things which are outside my circle of control, let's write inside the circle of control what you can control. What can you control? My what?
Feelings,
my words, my reactions. The only thing you can control is your own feelings, your own thoughts, actions, and reactions. When you live this way and say, okay, I'm sorry you feel that way. You said that something about me, or you don't like me, or you spoke Lashon Hara about me, or you put me down. Okay, that hurts, right? But I choose with my free will, my bechira, my mind, to focus on what I say about me, not what you say about me. If I focus on my feelings about myself, my words, my actions, and my reactions, and I focus on my real self, what's your real self? When they say, I don't like you, or you're not cool, or you're not with it, or you're not a good person, right? They say that. What do I say about myself? How have I defined myself based on my midos? Look at your wheel. What are your best midos? Tell me what your best midos are. Read them out to me. Speak out to me. What are your midos that go on your personality? Give me examples. Sorry? Calm? Empathy. Empathy. Chanun. Chanun. Empathy. What else? Compassion. Rachum. What else? Rav Chesed. Giving. What else? Pardon? Confident. What did you say? Positive. Being positive. Creative. Resilient, bouncing back. Consistent, persevering, never giving up. Honest. I define me, not you. When I define me, I no longer am codependent. I become what? Independent. I become emotionally independent. That's why self-esteem is so important. Self-esteem, self-evaluation, self-value, to know who you are. Is this prideful? Is this conceited to say, I am a good person, I'm a creative person, I'm a kind person, I'm a giving person? Is that conceited? No. What is it? Self-aware. It's actually humility. It's actually anivus. Anivus means I know what God gave me. I know how Hashem made me. I accept that Hashem gave me these midos, and I'm going to use them. That's humility. If I say, I am a self-made man, and I did all this, and I'm accomplished, and I'm an outgoing, creative, wonderful person, right? Then you're missing the dimension of me and Hashem. But if you say, I got this from Hashem, and I'm using it to serve Hashem, that's humility. Question, what's your name? Shira Malkowitz. Berkowitz. From where? London. Lovely.
But we're often very subjective, especially ourselves. So I think it's good to ask a lot of people.
Okay, good question. So since we are subjective, shouldn't we ask other people's opinions? Yes, only your closest friends. We should not be dependent on acquaintances to tell you, or people that you see in the street, or people that you are once in a while people and say, oh, they turn their back on you and you get depressed. But your closest confidants and your Rebbe and your mechaneches, those who know you well, and you say, listen, I'm working on my midos. And that's why the anti-gravity club is very good, because you work with a group of girls and you say, these are my midos, what do you think? Yeah, I think you're also this. So a close group of girls who are going to give chizuk to each other, so help each other identify what are our best midos. That is true. A close group of people. But not at whim, other people who are going to say negative things to you and then you become depressed because of it. So good question, very good. Yes. What's your name? Rivka.
Should you not give compliments?
Of course you should give compliments, but not negative things, right? Of course you should be complimentary and positive. That's a person who is outgoing, dynamic, charismatic, and is a leader by giving chizuk to other people and putting up other people.
But the person doesn't accept it because I don't need others' approval.
I don't need their approval, but it doesn't hurt to be positive and to greet people with sever panim yafos, right? To greet people with a happy countenance, a happy smile, and to give them chizuk, and to be warm to them, and to make them feel good about themselves, right? True. And that will help that person develop a sense of inner self that they can choose. Yeah, that person says that I'm a good person. Let me just think about that. I'm like, what's good about me? Right? So you are to be positive. We should not be negative to people, right? And we can be positive to give positive countenance and chizuk to people. But whoever I'm positive with should not then depend on my words. Rather, they have to use that to give themselves chizuk so they can develop their own sense of self. But being positive gives a person a general feeling of support and love where they can develop their own positivity. Now, when we're growing up amongst our parents, if we have love and support from both our parents, then normally, usually, hopefully, we develop an aura around ourselves to feel good about ourselves and feel positive, where we can develop our own self-evaluation when we have love from our parents. Sometimes parents are busy with marriage issues, or with financial issues, or with business issues, or with their own personal health issues. And therefore they don't have time or ability to give us that time and attention. So what does a child think when mom is busy, or mom is ill, chas v'shalom, or mom is busy with two jobs, and dad is very busy making a living for the family, and they don't give this family time or positive reinforcement to their children? What does a child feel like coming out of childhood? What is the unfinished business coming out of childhood a child feels when they didn't get that unconditional love from their parents? They feel what? Insecure. What else? Unworthy. Why? They got food, they got clothes, right? They went to school, but they didn't get the emotional attachment, emotional support and love. And so a child might come out of, we might come out of childhood into adolescence and into adulthood and into our marriages and say, I'm not a good person. I'm not worthy of love. I'm not a good person. That's where self-esteem comes in and says, okay, it's our responsibility as an adult, as a 17, 18, 19-year-old person to say, I have to develop my own self-esteem. Because ain't no one else coming. You got to do it yourself. So then, we therefore have, when we are able to develop our own self-esteem, we have two pathways in life. Ahava and yira. Two ways to serve Hashem. Love and fear. If we have a feeling of love, we feel loved, which means valued, then that gives forth all these positive emotions. What are they? Giving, happiness, compliments, and positivity. If you feel loved and valued, then you'll be an outgoing, warm, complimentary, outgoing, giving person. But if you grew up with negativity or fear, then you will end up with this. What emotions will I have? I will be a taker. I'll be needy, depressed, angry, or negative. So there are two ways to serve Hashem. Ahava, joy, and fear, yira. Which is higher? Ahava. Loving Hashem is higher than fearing Hashem. Yes, question. Why would Hashem create a negative dimension of serving Him? That's a very good question. What's your name? Kira Klein. So Kira, why would Hashem create fear? Because it's a stepping stone to Ahava. Fear is, I want to make sure I don't do the wrong thing. So that's Yira. Yira is Yiras Chet is level 1, is I don't want to do the wrong thing. That's level 1. But most people stop there and live in fear of Hashem striking them down with lightning. Say, uh-oh, I made a mistake, boom, Hashem's going to strike me down. That's a level of living with fear of God. The next level is ahava, loving Hashem. I want to do mitzvahs because I love Hashem. I love being in this life. I love serving Hashem. And I want to do mitzvahs because I'm so glad to be here. I have gratitude. That's ahavas Hashem. Higher than that, said the Sfas Emes, is yiras haromamus. There's a yira higher than ahava, called the awe of God. Not fear of God, but awe of God. You walk outside, you see the clouds, you see the birds, you see... Wow, what an amazing... I'm in awe of Hashem's universe. That's even higher than ahava. So we have a choice. We can either choose to live with fear, and that comes from low self-esteem, or to choose to live with love, which is feeling good about ourselves, feeling positive about ourselves. It's our choice. That's called Bechira. And I guess, Kira, Hashem wants us to choose between fear and love. He wants us to make our own choice. How do we want to live our lives? Do I want to live my life negative or positive? Do I want to live my life with a negative mindset or a positive mindset? Do I want to be frowning or smiling? Do I want to look at the negative in life, the bad things that happen to me, or I want to look at the positives in my life? Do I want to look at that person and say, oh, she's got something that I don't have and I'm jealous? Or I want to say, yeah, it's so nice, you've got such beautiful things. That's so good. Maybe one day I'll have them too. Right? Being positive, be happy for somebody. This all comes from feeling good about yourself. Now, if a person is angry, let's say a person is angry. You know, anger management. Have you ever heard of anger management? Raise your hand if you've heard of anger management. And you get upset about something, get angry. My anger is coming from fear. Fear of what? Why is my anger coming from fear? Loss of control. Very good. If I'm angry, let's say someone's supposed to come to my office at 3 o'clock for an appointment, and they come at 7 o'clock at night. I say, Bill, I'm angry at you. It's supposed to be 3 o'clock, you came at 7 o'clock. My anger would be coming from fear. I'm angry at Bill for coming at 7 when he should have come at 3. Why is my anger coming from fear? I fear that Bill doesn't respect me. But if I had love in me, I love myself, I would say, oh, Bill, I'm so sorry. I can't see you now. I've got other clients now, and I've got to have dinner with my family. But are you okay, Bill? Yeah, I know you were supposed to come at 3 and come at 7 instead. Are you all right, Bill? Is everything okay? So if I feel good about myself, I can overcome anger. If I don't feel good about myself, then I live with fear that I'm not good enough. So I'm going to say, oh, Bill didn't come because he doesn't like me. Or because he's not respecting me, right? So anger at other people is coming from fear. So that leads to our behavior of acting with anger or acting with love. So finally, we have to choose to decide the following last idea. We are born alone. And sometimes, emotionally, we get lonely. Sometimes we get homesick. We're lonely in our relationships. Maybe we don't have a best friend here. We're alone and we feel lonely. But we can go against gravity and say, of course I'm alone. Why am I alone? Because I'm... Of course you're alone. There is no one else like you in the world. No one else has your DNA. No one else has your background. No one else has your ideas and thoughts. And therefore, I'm alone, but that's a good thing. Or you can say, I'm alone, and that's a bad thing. I'm lonely. But alone is in the middle. Alone is neutral. I'm alone, which means I'm unique. Or I'm alone and I'm lonely. So I would like the Anti-Gravity Club to work on this idea of alone to unique. Each of you is unique. Each of you has a unique wheel of strengths, neshama, and each of you has an opportunity to make a special, unique contribution to this world. And therefore, my bracha to everybody is that you should find your own uniqueness, work with the Anti-Gravity Club, give uniqueness to each other, see the uniqueness in each other, And that way, use your highest self, your love self, your ahava self to serve Hashem b'simcha.